Hello and welcome everybody to Declutter Your Craft Room online workshop. Welcome if you are joining us live here on Zoom right now. It is 10 o'clock in Melbourne. We just started daylight saving time, so well done to everybody that's joined us, particularly the other people that are coming on the other side of the world, that the time would be different for you that you normally come along. So thank you. Well done for being organised. And if you're watching us on YouTube, because we are recording this, hi to anyone on YouTube. And yeah, we're going to use the chat today to share our thoughts, but there will be opportunities as well as we go through the workshop today. If you'd like to unmute yourself, you're welcome to do that and ask some questions, but otherwise we'll use chat. And again, if you are watching on YouTube, you can put your questions in the comments and I do receive them. So we can communicate, but it won't be quite as instant as if you are here joining us live today. So as we say, let's look at decluttering our craft room. Thanks for coming. As I said, have a think as we're going through about what accumulates in your craft room that you can focus on. There might be a particular hobby in your craft room that you have, whether it's your painting, whether it's your sewing things, whether it's decoupage or mosaics. Have a think about one particular thing in your craft room that we can focus on today. I'll introduce myself properly in a sec. And as I said, ask questions as we go through. My business, Space and Time, is all about decluttering and organising our space and our time and making conscious choices with how we use it, both our space and our time. It's not just doing something because grandma told you to do that way or you learnt it when you were 5 years old. We want to make conscious choices on how we use our space and our time right here, right now, for you and your family and your current life now. And as we go through today, we're going to be talking about systems, particularly in our craft room, that's going to make our crafting and our life simpler. Focusing on your intention, as we said, what's that particular part of your craft room you'd like to focus on today? Which tools or which part of your crafting? And the main reason for that is because changes of any sort are easier if we've got a clear intention on what we're doing. We've got some more workshops coming up leading up to Christmas, so I'll share them as well before we sign off after the hour today. So here I am, Julie Cliff. I am a declutter coach and a professional organizer. Before starting my business 10 years ago, I was an executive assistant and administrator for 20 years. So helping people get and stay organized in an office was something I love to do. Then I found a group of professional organizers who I just met with this week. We still meet monthly after more than 10 years. I've been going along to those meetings with other people that go into people's homes and help them declutter and get themselves sorted out. So using very similar skills, tools, processes, procedures, routines that I may have used once upon a time in an office and relate them to how you live your life in your home and how you set up your home to help you live the rest of your life when you walk outside of your front door. So I do have a group of professional organisers now that I run, a team married with husband and 2 teenagers. So let's have a quick look at the impacts of clutter and why it's such a big deal and why we would like to get ourselves organised. Well, a couple of very obvious but certainly important to talk about is the stress and anxiety caused by too much stuff. And also having too much stuff takes away from our productivity and our focus. It's just too overwhelming. There's too many things going on when there's clutter. So it can really affect our productivity and our focus. So we might be doing the wrong things or the wrong things, not enough of the right things. So our focus becomes a bit scattered. And also with our overall well-being, that can really be affected by how what we surround ourselves with. And as I said, it doesn't really just affect us while we're at home, it affects us when we walk out the front door as well. And our clients tell us that they are impacted by their clutter in many ways, including not wanting to invite people over and those sorts of things. But again, today we are looking at our crafting clutter. That'll be our main focus today. So why would we want to get organised? There are 4 main reasons I'm going to have a look at today for organising our craft room. Firstly is increased productivity. You know, an organised space can really help you find what you want quickly to be able to get things done so you can get stuck into it. You don't have to spend a whole hour clearing off a table just so you can get the oil paints out or your decoupage or your card making. If you've you've got a nice space ready in your crafting room, it really can increase your productivity so that you'll have less time mucking around and more time actually crafting. Another reason why we would want to get organized in our crafting spaces or with our crafting things is to enhance our creativity. A tidy and organized space can create creativity and encourage new ideas. Some people might say they like to be in, sort of surrounded by stuff to increase their creativity. That may well be the case for some people, but I think a nice tidy space where you've got room to actually do the crafting can increase your creativity as well. And also there's many cost benefits of being organized in your craft spaces. You know, you're not having to overbuy things, or, you know, you can't find your crafting scissors, so you buy another set, or I know I've got that green thread somewhere, but I can't find it and I really need to get this thing done, so I'm just going to have to go and buy more. So being organized can really help with your budget. And we'll talk about budgets a little bit more shortly. And also having an organized crafting space and crafting supplies can really reduce your stress. So, you know, you can create this nice environment, good for crafting, and also help you be able to find things easier that we just mentioned, which can help with your productivity. But being able to find things and just sit down and do the job can reduce your stress significantly. So to have a look at some steps to help you declutter and organize your crafting spaces and crafting supplies, we're going to go through the space and time organizing system. And if you've been to our systems before, which some of you have, and some of you have been to many of them, these are the 6 steps that we're going to go through today. So the first step is stop more crafting supplies from coming in. We'll give some ideas on how to do that. Second step, your commitment to being organized. Third step, sort the stuff. Fourth step, things you no longer need. Fifth step is easy storage. Particularly, we're talking about crafting items today. And then we're going to have a look at maintenance tools. Once we get ourselves sorted out, how can we keep it looking neat and tidy? So for each of the steps as well, we're going to look at understanding why the step is important and some tips on how to go about implementing the step. So let's look at step number 1, stopping the stuff. Why it is important to stop more stuff from coming in? Well, it's really good idea to have a bit of an audit about where it comes from and be mindful about what you're bringing into the house. So are people giving you things? Are you picking them up in op shops? Are you buying them online just late at night? Oh, that looks nice. I'll buy some of them. Actually, I'll buy more. Oh boy. Oh, look, they've got a discount for buying 3 lots of it. So let's have a look at where the stuff is coming from. Are they hand-me-downs? If somebody's giving you things, really be mindful about what you're bringing into your home. So this is why this step is so important, because it's really hard to get yourself sorted out and start to declutter if there's more and more things coming in the front door. So let's put the brakes on more coming in. How can we do that? Here's a few ideas. We can learn to say no to new items. So if somebody offers you a bag of wool or some fabric scraps or some new threads or some bobbins or pins, some new paints, you can say, no thanks. Don't need to give any more explanation than that, but knowing what you already have is going to help with this as well, so that you can easily say no to people. And to help you stop more stuff from coming in, you can set yourself limits on the amount of stuff you want to keep at home, which helps you know how much more you can bring in. So you might just have one shelf in your crafting area that has paints in it. And once it gets to more than that, you need to let some go if you want to bring more in. So set yourself some boundaries and some limits to help you stop more coming in, because we know that as crafters, I did a lot of sewing growing up, we can have more and more and more and acquire more, because that little piece of fabric might be just what I might use for something later down the track. It may or may not. It's always a bit of a debate on whether you may use it someday. But if we've got some good limits on what we are acquiring and how much of stuff, I think it's the only way. I did have a workshop attendee a few months ago put her hand up and said, I do crafting. I can't remember what specific thing it was she said, but you don't understand. It just, you never know what you're going to need, and you just keep getting more and more. And I think that she missed the point, but she also demonstrated the point as well, as far as we really do need to put a limit on it before you know the whole house is going to be full. And she did have a couple of people with her that day, and they said that yes, the crafting supplies have outgrown the crafting room and spreading out to the rest of the house. So let's set ourselves some good, healthy boundaries to help us stop more from coming in. And also you can get some friends or family to help you with this. Be a little bit mindful and careful who you do invite on this journey with you. Make sure it's the right person, but helping you keep accountable once you start to set some of these limits, or making an effort to get yourself sorted out. So again, some more ways to stop more things from coming in is to set yourself a budget and prioritize the essential items that you need for your crafting. And this will also help you avoid impulse buying and keep your spending and your collection in check. So if you've just got a certain amount of money to be able to spend on your crafting, and you know exactly that sort of things that you need to buy, that will help you stop bringing more stuff in that you do not need. We can bring some things that are essential to your crafting and that are going to be good fun, but we want to be able to make time to use it. Some people I've worked with, there won't be enough time in their lifetime and the next few lifetimes to be able to use all the crafting materials. So let's set ourselves a budget to help with that as well. Also, to stop more stuff from coming in, create yourself a wish list. So again, this is going to help you reduce your impulsive purchases and just getting what you need. So it might be just a quick list on the phone or in a notebook, and keeping in mind the projects that you are working on, and thinking of, what do I need to finish off those couple of projects before I move on to the next one? And creating this wish list could be a really great way to stop bringing the wrong types of things in that are going to be for a project in the future, and the future may not ever arrive. So one more way to stop more things coming in is to use what you have. And I think crafters are pretty good at this. As we would say, if someone has a lot of clothes in their wardrobe, we would say, shop your wardrobe. So you'd go to your wardrobe, pretend it's a shop, and go, oh, I like that, and I'm going to put that together. And, as though it is a shop. You could do the same thing with your crafting materials. Really set yourself the challenge of just using what you have to finish off some of those things and finish your projects that you are working on. Another way to stop more things from coming in is the 1 in, 1 out rule. So if you buy a new set of paintbrushes, you'll need to let go of a set of paintbrushes, or maybe the 1 in, 2 out rule. Whereas if you buy some new fabric, for example, maybe you could let some other fabric go that you know that you're just never going to get around to using, or it's never really quite been the right thing. And I did do this myself maybe 12 months ago. I went through some fabric that I bought with me when I moved out of home almost 30 years ago. Some of it I had used along the way, a lot of it I hadn't. So send it off to somebody that is going to use it. And it's a good one, this 1 in, 1 out rule. So, bring in a meter of fabric and let go of a few meters of fabric, for example. One more idea on stopping more stuff from coming into your craft room is to know what you have to prevent you from doubling up. And again, encouraging to use what you have already by having an inventory. So again, you could have it on your phone or in a notebook. My husband does this with his CDs and his DVDs. He has some quite complex apps and lists that he keeps track of those things, that when he's going out to buy more, he knows that he already has that particular album or DVD. So you can do the same with your fabric. Write yourself a list. I did do this with a client a few weeks ago. So she now has an inventory of all her fabric in her little studio apartment. So she could take this list with her if she's going out and about. And again, she knows what she already has. So they were ideas in the first step of stopping more things from coming in. So now that we've stopped more stuff from coming in, that is one of the best ways to start with our decluttering. The next step is your commitment to being organized. So this is really about our mindset and our thoughts towards being an organized person, getting your stuff in your crafting area organized, and being committed to all of that. The first point there, I'm very sorry to say there is no magic wand. We're going to have lots of tips here for you to go and do yourself, but there's no click of the fingers here to fix it. Being organized does take time, commitment, focus, and persistence, just like anything that we're wanting to get better at. We need to work at it. We need to put time aside for it. And that last point there says, don't worry about your wife or your husband or the family or the kids at the moment. We're talking about getting you sorted out here. And then we can help others get themselves organized as well. So as I said here, we want to change your mindset towards being organized. I would really love for you to start thinking of yourself as an organized person, catching yourself when you do things that organized people do, like put the dressmaking scissors back where they live every time you use them, and packing up after your project that you finished for the day, for example. As I say, catch yourself doing organized things, give yourself a pat on the back, but also start to do a few more things that organized people do. And a great way to inspire you to do this is to have a look at what you want your future life to look like. So, you could create yourself a little vision board or something like that, what you would like your crafting space to look like. And I would think it would probably have less stuff in it and a little bit more curated. Not to say that it's just a white, boring space, but I think a little more organized in your future life is probably something that you're looking to do. If I'm not right, let me know. Pop it in the chat there. What would you like your future crafting spaces and future crafting to look like? Share what your future is that you're focusing on. Because sometimes when we get in the weeds and we're getting down into the decluttering, it can be really difficult unless we are keeping our minds on the job. I've got this little card here, which might be helpful. Where have you gone? You could write yourself a little card like this one. This says, I can find what I want in 30 seconds or less. That could be an awesome one when you're getting yourself sorted out in your crafting spaces. I can find what I want in 30 seconds or less. So when the going gets tough, when you're going through your fabric and you think, oh, I love it so much, this is what we're working towards as well. It might help you make some more of these decisions and guide you towards what you want your future life to look like. So how can we go about that? We want to, with this crafting space, to set it up to support you for doing more crafting. You might have seen some funny memes that go around saying that collecting crafting supplies and actually doing the crafting are two separate hobbies. But I want you to merge them into one and actually do more crafting. So we want to set up your home for you to be able to do that. So we're not just talking about your physical surroundings, but also how the rest of your life runs. As I said before, when you walk out the front door or when you go to a sewing lesson or a sewing group or going to a crafting bee with others, let's set you up at home so that it's going to help you do more crafting. And a really good thing to think about in this step when we're really talking about our mindset to being more organized is, what does being organized mean to you? I see all spectrums of organized people and have done over the last 10 years of helping people declutter and organize in their homes with my business, space and time. 2 weeks ago, I was with a client that was the most minimalist I've ever seen. 5 shirts, 5 pants, 5 pairs of undies, the least amount of stuff I've ever seen. We still got rid of 5 bags of rubbish and donations. So she just wanted to get less and less. So is that what you want to do? Or is being organized just something different for you? Is it just being able to put your hands on your scissors when you want them? What does organized mean to you? And that's what we're working towards. It doesn't matter what somebody else has said or what they're doing in their home and in their crafting spaces. What's going to work for you? And what we want to do as well here is to prioritize your time and put being organized first. So we need to put some time aside for this to actually happen. As I said before, we can't just click our fingers and get organized. We need to put some time aside to do the decluttering and also, of course, to do the crafting. So we really want to be able to put some time literally in the calendar to get started. Great way to do is just 10 minutes. 10 minutes twice a day. And my clients tell me they get a long way when they're doing this. And particularly in a crafting space, I know you might have thousands of items or you might have a small collection. But we need to show our commitment to being organized, put the time in the calendar and start working on this. The second point there says, start by dealing with what's in your hand. So this is a general organizing tip. And I was thinking of this last night when I came home from an event at 11:30 at night. I had my little shoes in my hand that I couldn't wait to take off. Wrap them up in their little bag that they live in, put them away properly rather than just kick them off under the bed. I came home, took all my makeup off, did my proper skincare routine, even though it was really late, hung up my dress rather than dropping it on the ground, and unpacked my handbag with my lipsticks and things like that, my car keys, so I knew where they were today. So my point here is start by dealing with what's in your hand in relation to your craft room as well. So if you're bringing some new things home from the shops, unpack it and put it away where it should be. Don't just drop it beside the sewing machine or beside your easel. Start dealing with what's in your hand, and you can continue this throughout the whole home as well, like when you get home from work or when you get home from a trip away, unpack your bag straight away. These are things that organized people do. And again, we need to put time aside to do it. And the third point there says, reflect your commitment in your diary or your daily planner. So this is literally scheduling time to do it. So if you've got a paper calendar, write yourself an appointment with yourself, and stick to it. Just like you would a doctor's appointment, we wouldn't go, oh, I don't feel like going to the doctor's today. Although if you're unwell, you probably don't feel like going. But put it in the calendar and stick to it. We really do need to make time to make progress on some of these things. So the next step is sort the stuff. And I love this step. I had a great time yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before, sorting toys with a client, and we were going really micro, all the tiny little bits that go with the different sets of toys. Excuse me. Some clients don't want to get into that nitty gritty, but this particular client did. Again, this is what organized looks like to her. So that's what we did. So when we're talking about sorting your crafting supplies, we want to start to put like items together. We should get some photos of sorting some things in a craft room will be good rather than my utensils on my bench. But just to give you an idea of what you have, if you have all your fabrics together, all your buttons together, all your paints all together, all your jewelry making clasps and the wire and all the bits that go with the different crafting. And then you've got a good idea what we're going, what we've got and what is going. In this step 3, we're not letting go of anything yet. We're not making any decisions as to what to keep and what to let go. We are just making it more orderly to get our head around it all, and then we can make some good decisions from there. So these sorted piles really does make it easier for our brain to process. Our brain does like some order, and this order can really be helpful, as I said, for deciding what to keep and what to let go. So just using this example, as I said, I'll try and come up with some ideas for our next session or another session down the track with crafting supplies, but you get the idea here. These are all my utensils in my drawer here in my kitchen. On the left, all jumbled. You would have no idea, and I've told this story 1,000 times. You wouldn't know that I have 7 vegetable peelers until you start putting all the like items together and put them in their little categories, sort them all out. And it just makes it so much easier to then look at these sort of things and say, all right, well, do I really need 7 vegetable peelers? Do I have room for 7 vegetable peelers? And then you can start to let some items go once you have yourself sorted out. So just to understand a little bit more about the process and why it is so important to sort, is that the sorting can be a really good place where you can just let your emotions come and go in relation to the items, because you might pick up a piece of fabric that excuse me, my words just wouldn't come out there. Pick up a piece of fabric that belonged to your mum or your grandma or something, and you can get quite emotional. So this is a part of that processing on those feelings. Just let them come and go. Not try and get too hung up on the emotions. Just let them wash through you as a little bit like a meditation, I suppose, as you let your thoughts come and go. We're just looking at, as I said, sorting them out, feeling the emotions, letting the emotions go, so that then we can start to make some more some more decisions that are not quite so emotionally based. So here's some good examples on how we go about that. We can sort our paints, all the paints together, the different types, acrylic paints, watercolors, for example, or the different brushes that we're using, the flat ones, the pointy ones, the really wide ones, all these painting equipments. What about your tools and adhesives? Putting all your glue and glue sticks and liquid glue together, just starting to categorize, to sort them. And I have been doing this with a client of mine for quite a while this year, and absolutely having a hoot myself learning about all this painting gear and also jewelry making equipment and clasps and the wire and all those sorts of things, not to mention the gems and all the little embellishments that go with it. But the process there has really been, let's sort it out, let's see what we've got, and then we can start to make some decisions from there. You might continue on your sorting. Maybe you have some paper craft as well. Sort your paper and cardstock by the color or the size or the weight or the gauge. Sorting your fabrics and textiles by grouping, the type of fabric, whether it's cotton, silks, or color, depending on how you might like to sort things. And then all the jewelry supplies, just as I was saying, beads and clasps and things like that. And then, sorry, that was the end of that step. I clicked away too fast. So yeah, this sorting step can be really so very important to help us make the next decisions as to what to keep. And I think in this process as well, if you have got multi-crafting things going on, you might go, I've probably had enough of scrapbooking for now. And I did have a friend of mine mention this to me just this week, that they're going, I'm really not into that anymore. I'd rather focus on my watercolors. So I'm going to, really look at that area and get that sorted and pass my scrapbooking stuff off to somebody else to use. So this sorting step is a really great way to do all of that while we're letting all the emotions go through us, but not getting too tied up in it, and also helping us make the decisions going forwards. Let's look. We're going good for time. Yay. This step 4, things you no longer need, is all about decluttering. So this step is about letting go of the things that you don't really need to make space for the things that are important. Again, if you've only got a small space, maybe you could let go of a couple of these crafting things to make up more space for the one that you're really loving at the moment and really enjoying. This step helps you clear the physical and mental clutter. Like sometimes we've been carrying things around for years. Like I said about the fabric that I've been carrying around since I left home 30 years ago. There was a bit of mental clutter. It'd sort of been on my mind that the stuff is there, I'm not using it. It might as well go off to somebody else to use. And I'm sure there's some bits and pieces that I let go to the op shop that people would have loved. And it's wonderful to be able to share that around. So this step can really help clear your physical and mental clutter. And the three previous steps have really helped us to get here. So, we really are at a good point now to be able to start to do the decluttering. So, I didn't just say at the start of this session today, we're just going to walk into the craft room, we're just going to start getting rid of stuff. We've been thinking about some really good steps to set us up for this one. So this one, as I said, is really about letting go of the things that we're not using, we don't need, or we're not, or we don't have a use for anymore. And we can begin with the easy choices, maybe duplicates, like the 7 vegetable peelers, or broken items. So going through your crafting supplies and look at the things that aren't any good anymore. I know paintbrushes can go out of shape and become a bit manky. Some of the sponge rollers and paintbrushes made out of sponge can go a bit yuck after some time. So start with some of those easier choices, and even get rid of the rubbish and recycling. I often in people's homes and wrappers of things have just sort of been left everywhere, not recycled. They're just, all over the crafting space. So that can be a good spot to start as well. And have a good idea of where we can let some of these items go. Here in Melbourne, we have the reverse art truck and resource rescue to be able to donate items. But if you're somewhere else in the world, just pop onto Google and go, where can I donate arts and craft supplies? And there'll be some local places that you can take them. And it really is helpful to know that when you donate these items, that somebody else is going to love them and enjoy them and use them, rather than sitting on your shelf unused. So really have a good look in your local area where you can donate things to. And there's a lot of Facebook groups that are out there that are great for swapping things and getting rid of things. But of course, if you've spent some good money on some of these things, you probably can sell some of them. So, Marketplace or eBay or something like that might be a really good place to get rid of some of these items for yourself as well. In this step, things you no longer need. So in the first 3 steps, as I said, we really were laying the foundation for decluttering. We stopped more things from coming in. We got committed to being organized by putting time aside to actually work on our decluttering projects. We sorted the stuff, and then the step that we have just had, we're starting to declutter. Which brings us to step 5, which is easy storage. So it is deliberately called easy because if it's not easy, we won't put things back. I have a tall boy in our rumpus room that has a lot of my crafting things, particularly sewing and zippers and buttons and cotton and fabrics and interfacings and all of these bits and pieces, but it is only one set of drawers. But if I can't get to those set of drawers, if the kids have got stuff in the road I can't reach because there's a bean bag or the kids have, piled something up in there, I'm just as lazy as everybody else. I'll just put it on the top of the drawers because I can't reach at this moment and I'm in a hurry. So we really do need to make it easy to be able to return things to their permanent homes. That's what this easy storage is, a place for everything and everything in its place. Putting things back in their permanent homes so that it is, we can easily maintain our spaces. So these permanent homes really can make it easy to find what we need and easy to return it to its permanent home. So as I said, easy, easy, easy in this particular step. And as I said, it's deliberately the 5th step. I didn't say go to Kmart and buy $300 worth of tubs and containers as the first step. We did a lot of work and a lot of prep to get here. But now if you want to make your space look neat and tidy, or even as beautiful and Pinterest worthy as this card making station on the right, now is the time to do it because you know what you've got. We've done all the decluttering. We've got a good idea on how much of things we have, where it's going to go, and really can make some decisions now about how we're going to box it up. Is it going to be baskets? Is it going to be perspex? Is it going to be cardboard boxes? And put labels on things so that it's nice and easy for you and easy for anyone in the family. If they are allowed in your crafting space, we can make it easy for other people to be able to find things, but also for them to return the scissors and the glue and the sticky tape and the good dressmaking scissors and the tape measure, the things that often go missing. So as I said, this is deliberately this 5th step to be able to now organize things so they're going to work for you in your space to the level that you want to be organized by thinking about the storage now. And don't forget as well that storage items are a tool, like as in containers and boxes and things like that. A tool makes something, makes a task easier, but tools are not magic. So the boxes and the baskets don't just go and suck everything back at the end of the day. You need to make some time as you're finishing up the day to put your items back in the permanent homes so that you keep your spaces nice and neat. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next step, maintenance. But that's what easy storage is all about, using these tools to help you stay organized. But again, the tools are not magic. You are the one that's going to have to do the work here. So up until this point, we haven't really been thinking about making it perfect. our priority has been making it well and making it efficient. And once we've sort of got things where we want them and how we want them, then you can knock yourself out and make it Pinterest worthy. If that's how you want your spaces to look, and that is what being organized means to you. But for now, as I said, we're just making our priority to make it well and efficient, and make it easier to be able to find what we need and easier to do more crafting. So some good storage ideas here. There's a million of them that we can look up on Google. Just search whatever you're looking for, good storage for buttons or cottons, whatever. You can use bins, boxes, or jars to keep your items separately so that you can see what you've got without opening them. So they might be clear containers, as I said, bins, boxes, or jars. Don't forget we can use the wall-mounted storage systems to use our vertical spaces. So there's just some more easy storage ideas. Could put a pegboard to hook things on, and to get those really important things right there within reach, or right here, wherever you can reach your wall, and where a pegboard or something like this might come in handy. We often see a pegboard like this in a workshop or in a garage with all your tools hanging on them, screwdrivers, those sorts of things. But we could do the same in our crafting spaces as well. And then we can have stackable containers and bins. So we can have each of our little bits and pieces in their own little spot. So again, they have a permanent home that we know where to go and find them, and to return them as well after we've used them. And a rolling cart or trolley like this can be really handy if where you're storing your things is not where you actually do the crafting. So you might have a cupboard in the hallway where your crafting things are, and then wheel it out to the dining room table to use. So something like this could be handy just for transporting bits and pieces backwards and forwards. But I have actually seen as well, the little IKEA trolleys, 2 or 3 tiers with some great kids craft paper, scissors, pencils, textures, that sort of thing on as well, so they can wheel it around the different spaces of the home to use as well. So something on wheels can be really handy, easy storage as well. Little drawer organizers are always amazing in any space that have a lot of things. So these could be just like a utensils divider, or specifically for smaller items like these ones here, or a little insert that you get from any stationery supply, just with the little sections in it that you could put pins or anything in it for your crafting. And we can also use some different hanging storage. We talked about a pegboard just before, but you can buy lots of different ones that you can hang in various spaces, just so that you've got all those important things right at your fingertips. So the last step, let's have a look at this last step of these 6 steps of the space and time organizing system, and that's maintenance. So a good challenge and something for you to work towards is daily maintenance of our spaces. So getting organized and decluttering isn't just a once-off job. It's something that we do each and every day. And the decluttering is a really great start, and maintaining it is the thing to work towards, to continue to upkeep your great decluttering and organizing work that you have done. So let's have a look at some maintenance steps here. So we can embrace some daily habits to maintain an organized space. And a good way to stay on track and keep up with these habits is to remember about that future life that we spoke about before. What do you want your crafting spaces to look like? How can we make it easier to sit down and do it? How can we make it more inspiring? thinking about your future spaces and how you feel in those spaces when you are doing your crafting. So use that as inspiration to remind you to put the scissors away, to remind you to refold the fabric and put it neatly back in the cupboard once you've used it. Wash out your brushes in the best way possible to maintain your beautiful painting brushes. And doing this regularly every day as we're doing our crafting and continuing to upkeep our spaces. And don't forget to use your calendar. As I said before, literally plan an appointment. Make a date with yourself to work on the actual crafting and continue the decluttering journey that you are on. And come up with some really good weekly routines by using your planner so that you can continue to keep things in order. And that's partly about, as I said before, making time for packing up as well. So we sit down, we might do 2 hours of crafting on a Saturday afternoon, but we still need 20 or 30 minutes to pack it up and get the dining room table back to normal before, you know, we make dinner that night, for example. And we can get the family involved if they are crafters as well. This is a really good spot to get them involved because we've done a lot of the legwork. Maybe there's not so much stuff now. We're a little bit more organized and we can get them involved now. Set some rules with them about what they can and can't use, when they can use particular things. Are they allowed to use the good scissors, for example? And then get everybody on board to enjoy the joys of crafting, whatever that might be. And don't forget to keep your friends and family on this journey with you as accountability. So you can continue to check in with them and just remind them, saying, you know, my desk is looking really awesome. I'm going to check in with you at the end of each week and tell you and send you a photo of my crafting space because it still looks awesome, and you can keep accountability with them. Or you might need some professional help. Maybe you have a professional organizer nearby you, or if you're in Melbourne or Geelong, you could get me or one of my team to help you in your crafting space, or I can help you on Zoom with your specific challenges. We can make a plan. You could show me some photos and we can help you with your decluttering journey. And as we're going along in this maintenance step, we're tweaking as well as we're going. We don't want to reinvent where we keep things all the time. We do need to apply a full stop at times and go, that's good enough, and not keep moving things around. But continuing to tweak so that the system and the routine and the space is working for you to do your best work. So that is the 6 steps of the space and time organizing system in relation to decluttering your spaces. Let's have a look at what we've spoken about today. Firstly, be really mindful of what you bring into your home. Start to say no. Be really diligent when you're shopping, whether it's in person or online. Make time for being organized. That was the second step, about being committed to being organized. Decluttering step was being conscious about what you keep and what you let go. And before that, we were sorting the items to help us do that. And then we set up the permanent homes to be able to just put things back where they live, but also to find that pink button that we need for the project that we are working on. So those permanent homes are really important when we're talking about our crafting things, particularly when there is so much. We really want to have a good idea of where things are. I would really love your decluttering journey and our stuff to bring us closer to what you want and to be able to do more crafting rather than too much stuff taking us away from our crafting because we just can't get to it, and taking us further away from the life that we want to live. Don't forget that this all takes practice. Like I said, when we're being committed to being organised, we're we're practicing this. We are improving our processes. We are, it is a decluttering practice, just like a mindfulness or a meditating practice. We are doing it each and every day and getting better at it. And, in time, you will get better at it, and it won't be so challenging and so much work for you, because things will be right where you want them, and you'll be really enjoying your spaces. What am I saying here? Our website has a lot of different blogs about decluttering different areas of the home. So if there's something else other than your crafting space that you need some help with, have a look on there, as well as our YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Check that out. There's live workshops like this one. There's blogs. There's other recorded workshops. So previous ones that we've done in kitchens, garages, you name it, we've done it. In 2 weeks' time, 23rd of October, we are going to have another live session. It's going to be tackling doom boxes. So how to break the habit of stashing and dashing. I'll send you out all these links and some notes this afternoon in an email, including the links to register for these sessions. 2 weeks after that, on the 6th of November, we're going to look at take the silly out of the silly season. Really important as we lead up to Christmas to be mindful of how we're using our time, how we want to celebrate Christmas or the holidays, whatever it might be that you celebrate at the end of the year, but also thinking about gifts and those sorts of things, stopping more of the stuff coming in to the home that we don't necessarily need or want. So love to see you in a couple of weeks' time on that one. And just for being here today, I would love to offer you a 15-minute free chat on Zoom. Again, I'll send out the links today as to how you can go about doing that. And we'll just chat about your crafting space or any space in the home that you are having difficulties getting started on. Let's have a chat and make a bit of a plan for you. So thank you so much. Has anyone got any questions before we wrap up? We've done pretty good for time. We're a couple of minutes early. That's all good. But yeah, if you haven't got anything right now that you want to ask, feel free to reply to the email that we send out this afternoon. I really enjoyed chatting to you about decluttering and organising your crafting spaces, and we'd love to hear from you of what you've thought about it by return email when we send that one out this afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining, and look forward to seeing you in another session. You're welcome, Bill. Thank you. Bye, Alice. Thanks, everyone. Take care. See you soon.